gray and somber walls that have witnessed every phase in the life of this Catalan city, since Count Ramon Berenguer laid their foundations 9 centuries ago. Of a people, the admiration mention is to be found of the visit of the great explorer. When I left Barcelona, I was happy to escape from this hot and noisy city. Barcelona, I presently emerged on the square which is flanked by the Casa Consistorial, or Town Hall, erected in 1337, the Deputation, or Old Parliament House of Catalonia. Both are noble survivors of the historic past of Barcelona, but both have had modern and incongruous facades imposed upon them, as though the citizens were ashamed of their beginnings and anxious to look as new as possible. Yet the instant one enters the vestibule of the Deputation, one is back in the Middle Ages. Here are vast arches, a majestic staircase, slender and beautiful colonnades, and the typical svelte marble pillars of the Catalan window, which might be of steel. So slight are they and so little fitted, seemingly, to sustain the burden imposed upon them. And here indeed they have bent under the arduous task, but how simple and beautiful they are. The beauty of that masterpiece. It is yet perhaps the best piece of sculpture in Barcelona today. Characteristic too that it satisfied a people who seem never to have cared for art with any passion or eagerness. But little by little, in passing up and down Barcelona, Spain falls away from you, and you find yourself in a cosmopolitan city of the modern world, still with traces of its ancient splendor lingering here and there in the Rambla, perhaps, and in the old churches, but for the most part so different from all that you have seen in Spain itself, that you are compelled almost to think of Barcelona as a city apart, given over to business, without character, perhaps, certainly without anything of the raciness that in Castile, in Leon, in Andalusia or Valencia, give to even the tiniest villages something virile and splendid in which you discern always the strong and unfortunate land that we have loved. Nearing Barcelona the cultivation improved. Factory chimneys began to appear, there was more stir and bustle, the sky was less blue, and the air grew dusk with smoke, and it soon became apparent that we were entering a modern commercial city. That is what Barcelona is at first sight, and what it is most proud of being. Here, if anywhere in Spain, resides the spirit of modernity, the faculty of organization, the power of accumulating wealth by trade, and here are visible symptoms of civic pride, the manifest desire to build a great city and equip it with great buildings, and keep alive the memory of its departed sons. All this is well, but under the rich and prosperous surface there is present all the terrible slag of civilization, the waste matter of the modern struggle for life. As to the great buildings, they are, if the truth must be spoken, vulgar and ociose. They have a certain originality, which may culminate someday in something fine and noble, but that day is not yet. The long streets of big houses, The glittering tramcars, the shops and squares and ornamental parks, are all part of the customary claptrap of 19th century civilization. One would not come a long way to look upon such things, though even these, from their exotic palms and strange outlines,
lend a certain charm to this
old Catalan city.
happily
Barcelona has
preserved splendid memorials of a more dignified past, and these it was my purpose to explore. Turning down the Calle Fernando, the Bond Street of Barcelona, I presently emerged on the square which is
bent under the arduous task of simple and pure art.
to come upon them fresh from gazing upon such a monument as the Custom House, or the new mansion of a tradesman in the Paseo de Grade is like waking from a bad dream upon the freshness of the dawn. The palace of Antiquation retains the dignity of a people who stood in the forefront when it was built, of a people who enjoyed a degree of political representation, and knew how to exercise it with manly independence. It is eloquent of a time when chivalry and commerce went hand in hand together, and architecture sprang from the soul, and not merely from the pockets of a people. The admiration of foreigners and the honor of Barcelona it deserves, with the mighty cathedral and a few other notable old buildings, all the love and attention as people can bestow on it. Upon the day of my visit, the greater part of it was under repair.
the court of oranges lay under the litter of the workmen.
Most of the
Great rooms were under
unfolding, and the beautiful little chapel of St. George, with its damask and front, was closed, but those which were shown and which were still
in use,
presented an appearance of stately and ceremonial magnificence. In one, as I entered, a number of young conscripts taken from every class of the community were being measured for their fitness for war. At a high table, the council
committee of military
was seated. From the dome window above, the light came streaming in through colored panes. The hangings were of crimson. Though many persons were present, there was scarcely a murmur, and the proceedings were stamped with unconscious pride, as of the state of bygone days. In the adjoining hall, the Salon del Tribunal was no occupant. The hangings and furniture were richly fashioned. Portraits of the King of Spain, Alfonso XIII, and the vast canvas by Fortune, depicting in his earlier style the victory of marshalling over the Moors and Tetuan, hung upon the walls. One could see in these royal portraits the gradual passing of the fragile child holding by his mother's skirt, the hope of Spain, into the callow youth, and so into manhood, as the debonair Alfonso ordained. They cover a critical period in the history of this ancient and noble people, and one is made to believe that they mark a new era in the national fortunes.
tree upon the walls traces the descent of the Aragonese kings from him, and so from the Gothic counts of Roca, that little village in the French Pyrenees, the archives are arranged in perfect order, inscribed on vellum, or, as in the reign of James the Conqueror, on arid paper which formed part of the spoils of his victories over the Moors. There are other documents also, and countless memorials of that heroic age. In these quiet rooms one forgets that Barcelona is a glamorous modern city, but its history is more ancient than even these memorials might suggest. Two Granollers towers and its bustling streets were built here in days when Rome was thriving, and hidden away in the patio of a modern house, now occupied by the Catalan Tourist Society. There are three superb Roman pillars which lift their Corinthian capitals to the sky, like prisoners in restraint. They stand where they have always stood since the Roman built them all those long centuries ago, and one wonders at the indifference of the people of Barcelona, who leave them thus, ignobly hidden by elegant walls and obscure surroundings. But it is the cathedral which, by its magnificence and old Spanish grandeur, dwarfs everything else in Barcelona. Here, if anywhere, is the soul of this strident city, a reminder that under the cosmopolitan surface of its ancient there still lies the stern and peculiar figure of an Iberian people. Outside the trankers clang and rattle, the shop nation, in part of the and the street strain. They stand where they have always stood since the Roman built them all those long centuries ago, and one wonders at the indifference of the people of Barcelona, who leave them thus, ignobly hidden by relevant walls and obscure surroundings. But it is the cathedral which, by its magnificence and old Spanish grandeur, dwarfs everything else in Barcelona. Here, if anywhere, is the soul of this strident city, a reminder that under the cosmopolitan surface of its ancient there still lies the stern and peculiar figure of an Iberian people. Outside the trankers clang and rattle, the shop windows glitter, and the roaring crowd goes by on its business, its pleasure, and its politics, flinging its bombs, shouting itself hoarse with republican passion, laughing down the Rambla where the flower stalls fling their fragrance into the air. But inside, here, within these great and somber walls that have witnessed every phase in the life of this Catalan city, since Count Ramon Berenguer laid their foundations 9 centuries ago, there is silence and majesty and profound impression, as of Philip prayer, and in such tragic and pitiless devotion as made the Spanish Inquisition the terrible thing it was. Manchester and Liverpool outside, if you like, but in here the heart of Spain, beating as of old, and a cathedral reckoned to be one of the grandest of its kind. In the crypt lie the ashes of Saint Eulalia, whose memory still lives after 1700 years in the mystery place of the Catalan peasantry. In an urn near the sacristy rests what may still survive of the Count Ramon Berenguer. From the organ hangs the Saracen's head, symbolic of the conflict of Islam with Christianity. In the choir are displayed the arms of those knights of the Golden Fleece who were present here when Charles V held a chapter of that noble order in 1519. In a chapel there hangs the crucifix carrying the crown of Don Juan's flagship at the Battle of Lepanto, and an old sarcophagus holds the dust of Ramon de Pennafort, the Catalan saint, while another adjoining it perpetuates the memory of the king's pool. The chapel of Santa Lucia marks the oldest part of the cathedral, as the west front, added but recently, testifies to modern adornments. The cloisters are as lightsome and charming as the cathedral is dark and magnificent. Here fountains play in the sunlight, and slender palms display their beauty under a blue sky. It is as though the architect, brooding over his mighty creation, freshness and simplicity finds entrance. Through the crowded streets and past the glittering shops a shepherd passes with his flock. The milk seller with his herd comes pattering down the ramble. Cattle and girl strolls up to a fountain with her two-mouthed pearl, and lets the water pour between her open lips as she did in her native village before she ever came to Barcelona. Beside the electric tram there still plies the little mule-drawn box, and under the dazzling arcs which hide the moon the flower seller displays her wealth of lilies and carnations. Not far off, under Columbus's pillar, is the sea, but a commercial sea. Only a Venice did he know how to combine commerce with art and beauty, and though the sea has made Barcelona what she is, laying its wealth at her feet, her people turn their face away from her. Here is no piazza of St. Mark. The tide of life rolls up the Rambla and across the plaza, and the sea attracts more. The city has recently raised a lofty monument to the fame of Columbus, who was received here by Ferdinand and gentle Isabella. But the bas-reliefs which grace its pedestal are already wearing in the old palace of Barcelona, where live the records of Aragon and Barcelona. No mention is to be found in the visit of the great explorer. When I left Barcelona, I was happy to escape from this hot and